You're watching Silver News Daily. Like this video and subscribe to the channel for the best news that you don't want to miss. Now let's get straight to it. Imagine a world where silver isn't just a precious metal, but a skyrocketing financial phenomenon. Yes, you heard that right. Experts are now speculating that silver could hit an all-time high, reaching the seemingly impossible mark of $1,000. It sounds like a financial fantasy, but what if I told you that this could be our reality sooner than we think? Stay tuned as we unravel the compelling reasons behind this bold prediction and why this might not be as far-fetched as it sounds. You won't want to miss this extraordinary journey through the shimmering prospects of silver. Let's dive into the current state of the silver market. Silver has been treading close to multi-week lows, with prices hovering just below the $23 mark. This downward trend is more than just a number game. It's a reflection of a market that's been heavily favoring bearish traders. The technical setup, including crucial indicators like the 200-day simple moving average, paints a picture of vulnerability and potential for deeper losses. But here's where it gets interesting. What if this low point is just the calm before the silver storm? Remember, markets are dynamic, and what's down today could skyrocket tomorrow. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button to stay updated on all the twists and turns of the silver market saga. Let's delve deeper into the bearish sentiments currently dominating the silver market. The scene is set with silver teetering on the edge, a precarious position that has captured the attention of traders and analysts alike. The heart of this bearish trend lies in a series of technical signals that can't be ignored. For instance, last week's sustained breakdown and failure near the 200-day simple moving average is a red flag for those bullish on silver. But what does this really mean? These technical indicators aren't just random numbers. They are like the pulse of the market, giving us insights into trader behavior and market sentiment. Oscillators on the daily chart, holding firmly in the negative territory, hint at a lack of immediate momentum for a bullish reversal. This scenario might suggest that silver's path of least resistance leans heavily towards the downside. But here's a thought to ponder. In the world of trading, what goes down often bounces back up, sometimes with surprising force. The current bearish trend might be setting the stage for a powerful reversal, the kind that can propel silver to heights previously deemed unattainable. Consider the potential triggers for such a dramatic shift. Could it be a sudden change in economic policies, a global financial event, or perhaps an unexpected surge in industrial demand for silver? The possibilities are endless, and the market's reaction to these events could be explosive. Remember, the financial world is full of surprises. What's your take on this? Do you think silver has the potential to make a massive comeback? Share your thoughts in the comments and let's get a dialogue started. And while you're at it, remember to subscribe for more in-depth analysis and updates on this unfolding silver story. So, are you ready to explore what could trigger silver's rise from the ashes? Let's move to the next step and unravel the factors that might ignite silver's ascent to $1,000. Let's venture into the realm of possibilities and explore the potential catalysts that could ignite silver's ascent to unprecedented heights. This part of our journey isn't just about understanding the current market dynamics, it's about peering into the future, identifying the factors that could turn the tide for silver. Firstly, let's talk about the economic scenarios that could play a pivotal role. Imagine a situation where inflation starts to spiral uncontrollably, or there's a significant shift in monetary policy by major central banks. Such scenarios could lead investors to seek safe haven assets, and silver, with its dual status as both an industrial metal and a monetary asset, could become highly sought after. Another angle to consider is the industrial demand for silver. With the world increasingly moving towards green energy and technologies like solar panels, which heavily rely on silver, a surge in demand could drastically reduce supply, thus pushing prices up. It's a classic case of supply and demand economics, but with a modern twist. Moreover, let's not forget the role of market sentiment and speculation. In a market driven as much by perception as by fundamentals, a shift in investor sentiment could be enough to spark a rally. If major financial analysts and investors start to view silver as undervalued or ripe for a rebound, their actions alone could start a buying frenzy. But all this is hypothetical, right? Or is it? History has shown us time and again that markets can and do make incredible turns, often when least expected. The journey of silver to $1,000 might seem like a distant dream today, but in the world of finance, dreams have a way of becoming reality. So, as we continue to navigate through these intriguing possibilities, remember to stay tuned and subscribe for the latest updates and in-depth analysis. Silver's path to $1,000 is a story full of twists and turns, and we're here to explore every angle. In our next step, we'll examine historical precedents and market trends that support the possibility of silver reaching $1,000. Are you ready to delve into the past to understand the future? Let's move forward. Let's take a step back in time to understand the future trajectory of silver. Historical precedents and market trends can be incredibly insightful, especially when we're speculating about something as audacious as silver hitting $1,000 per ounce. To start, let's consider the historical performance of silver. There have been instances in the past where silver has experienced significant rallies. These rallies were often driven by a combination of factors like inflation fears, currency devaluation, and geopolitical tensions. For instance, remember the late 1970s and early 1980s? Silver prices soared driven by inflation and market speculation. While the circumstances today are different, the essence of market dynamics remains the same. Now let's look at some recent trends. The global push towards renewable energy and technological advancements has led to an increase in the industrial demand for silver. This demand is not just for its use in jewelry or as a store of value, but for its critical role in various industrial applications, especially in the electronics and solar energy sectors. As the world continues to embrace green technology, this demand could significantly impact silver prices. Furthermore, the role of silver as a safe haven asset cannot be understated. In times of economic uncertainty, investors often turn to precious metals. If we encounter economic turbulence, such as a significant downturn in the stock market or a weakening of major currencies, silver could see a surge in investment demand. But how does all this tie into the possibility of silver reaching $1,000? It's all about connecting the dots. By understanding the historical context and current market trends, we could start to see a pattern that suggests that under the right conditions, a significant rally in silver prices is not just a possibility, but could be an inevitable response to a confluence of economic, industrial, and geopolitical factors. So, as we inch closer to the climax of our story, the potential for silver to reach $1,000 per ounce becomes more than just a speculative idea. It starts to take shape as a plausible outcome based on logical reasoning and historical patterns. Remember, the journey of understanding market trends is ongoing, so make sure you're subscribed to stay updated with the latest insights and analysis. In our next and final step, we'll bring all these elements together and present a compelling conclusion on how silver could realistically reach $1,000 per ounce. Are you ready for the grand finale? Let's move on to the apex of our story. We've reached the apex of our journey where we piece together the puzzle and explore how silver could realistically reach the astounding price of $1,000 per ounce. This isn't just a story of numbers and markets, it's a tale of potential and possibility. Let's start by summarizing the key points. We've seen the current bearish trend in silver prices, but as history has taught us, markets are cyclical. The same factors that drive prices down can, under different circumstances, propel them upwards. Economic policies, market sentiment, and industrial demand are all pieces of this complex puzzle. Consider the potential shift in economic policies worldwide. Central banks might adopt measures that devalue currencies or trigger inflation. In such scenarios, investors often flock to precious metals like silver as a safe haven, driving up its price. The industrial demand for silver, particularly in green technologies, cannot be overstated. As the world increasingly focuses on renewable energy, the demand for silver, a key component in solar panels and other technologies, is likely to surge. This increased demand, coupled with limited supply, could significantly push up prices. Moreover, we must not underestimate the power of market sentiment. The financial markets are often driven by perceptions. A shift in investor sentiment, perhaps triggered by a new technological use for silver or a geopolitical event, could lead to increased buying and speculative interest in silver. Bringing all these factors together, the idea of silver reaching $1,000 per ounce transforms from a mere speculative hypothesis to a well-supported possibility. It's a scenario where economic, industrial, and psychological factors converge, creating the perfect storm for silver prices to skyrocket. In conclusion, while silver's journey to $1,000 per ounce may seem like a long shot given the current market conditions, it's a possibility that cannot be dismissed. The convergence of economic trends, industrial demand, and market sentiment could create an environment where silver defies expectations and reaches new heights. Remember, this isn't financial or investment advice, but a glimpse into a potential future of the silver market. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more insightful analyses and updates on the ever-evolving world of finance and investment. We hope you've enjoyed this exploration into the world of silver and its potential to reach unprecedented levels. Thank you for joining us on this journey, and we look forward to bringing you more fascinating market stories.
The other night, and I was thinking, there are a lot of people out there, Dunnigan, that have an understanding that things aren't right. They can feel it. They can see what's happening here in the country, the divisiveness, the lack of unity, all of the things that we've talked about here, where you're defined by who you vote for, and all of the problems in this country. And people understand that, they feel that, they sense it, even if they can't articulate it. But it kind of dawned on me seeing is that a lot of what I talk about happens outside the country. And I think the world is changing so much more quickly than most of the people in this country understand. And it's because there's virtually no coverage of the rest of the world in the American media. And so I don't think that the people listening to you have a good sense of it, certainly not just because of me, but all the wonderful guests that you have on, but the people out there just don't have any understanding. One of the things I wanted to touch on real quick, we talked a lot about the United Arab Emirates 2 weeks in a row. The first week we talked about how they said we're not going to take dollars for oil anymore. And then last week we talked about how it's been kind of hard to find that story that MSN brought out on behalf of another site. But I found it interesting, and I don't think we talked about this, but that, the announcement supposedly was made 2 days before 200 countries came to Dubai for the United Nations Summit on Climate Change. Great. So, the gentleman presiding over it is the head of the state-owned United Arab Emirates oil company. They make that announcement 2 days before 200 delegates show up in the country. Big announcement. We agree on that, I believe. But one of the things that happened subsequently that I find very interesting, and I'm not sure if we touched on this or not. If we did, forgive me. If not, maybe for those who haven't heard it, I think it's very interesting, and that is that an impromptu meeting by Putin happened a day or two after the summit ended. And that's relevant to me because, look, you had Putin flanked by 4 Russian MiG fighter jets make an impromptu unannounced meeting to Dubai right after the summit ended, right after they, United Arab Emirates told the world we're not going to take dollars for oil going forward. And then goes directly, and it's a big deal because, look, Putin hasn't left the country more than twice in the last few years because of the American or Western bounty on his head. So, he flies to the UAE right after this announcement, right after the meeting. When you put it in context with, Gaddafi and Hussein, who made similar announcements, is it coincidental or not? And then goes directly from there to Saudi Arabia, where OPEC then announces an increase in their $1.1 million barrel per day reduction to 2 million plus barrels per day reduction. Is it all coincidental, or are all of these things lining up and gaining more and more critical mass, velocity? And I think the answer, at least in my mind, is yes, they are gaining critical mass. And so I just wanted to touch on that in terms of